E360 TV proudly presents Messages of Inspirational Stories, broadcasting and live streaming to millions of devices around the world, including Roku, and live streaming to Facebook Live. Also on Amazon Fire TV and to Twitch. Also Android TV and Periscope. Broadcasting to Apple TV and YouTube Live. Proudly brought to you by our host, Donna, producer and host, Michaela Vidal, host and administrator, and Jim Grant, producer and host. Proudly brought to you by the 6minutewebinar.com.
Welcome to the Messages of Inspirational Stories. Jim, we are back. I am so excited to be here with you today. And of course, you know, everybody out there who watches us on whatever platform it is that they see us on.
I'm with you on that. I really am. I mean, it's just really an honor and a pleasure for us to be here. And this week, the amount of knowledge that we're sharing with you from Mr. Bill Heinrich's book, The 7 Levels of Truth. Donna and I, we've been sharing we've been reading and sharing that information directly with you because we cannot improve on Mr. Bill Heinrich's verbiage, number one. Number two, we wanted to make sure we did not water it down any as far as the impact, because it's a powerful
Correct.
book. Let me get a drink here.
Correct. So, you know, we kind of ended yesterday's show and we'll kind of start today's show kind of overlapping in the same space, but it bears repeating. So
Yes.
The place to begin is with fear and love. Fear is the most common feeling known because it is the cornerstone of a survival-based lifestyle. Fear is a good thing. It tells us when we need to make conscious choices from our heart. When we respond to fear from our head, our ego wants to protect us. Based on our past experiences and our internal belief system, fear will generate a negative response to any situation.
It sure will, because when I was listening to you read the words there, and it just validates what I said earlier about how do we improve on that verbiage. And that is why that is the reason why we wanted to share this with you for two reasons. Number one, for you to get the impact. Number two, if you do decide to buy the 7 Levels of Truth on Amazon, this is the cover of the book here, 7 Levels of Truth. You will know what you're getting. It's 208 pages long, and it's just power-packed information, down-to-earth stuff like that. And Bill has that ability after he invested 25 years of his life into this book, and he has that ability just to get down to the grassroots level. And,
Absolutely.
Oh, he's going to be with us on Friday, isn't he?
He is. We are super excited, folks. We are going to do a point and shoot, if you will, in the book. Mm-hmm. So we're each going to open up the book and pick an area to read. And then we're going to go through that. We're going to have the privilege and the honor of going through that with Bill himself.
Yeah. We're just going to be going right through the book like that, blindly, just picking it and just blindly picking out one paragraph. And that's how powerful this book is. And Bill, we'll read the paragraph to Bill, and then he's going to share his wisdom with us. So Friday is a day, you know, it's kind of like a treat for all of us, Donna. It really, truly is.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So, Jim, I would love if you would read Einstein's little quote there.
Okay. Common sense is nothing more than a deposit of prejudices laid down in the mind before you reach 18. My goodness gracious. When it comes to teenagers, if someone invented a pill that would make teenagers have common sense, really common sense, where they listen to their parents and understand, appreciate their parents, gosh, that person would be a millionaire in about 29 seconds.
Right? If that long.
Yeah, if that long. Yeah, you're right. I tell you, it's amazing. And Bill asked a very interesting question here in the book. We talk a lot about fear, the two main emotions. There's only two. There's fear and there's love. Fear is all physical. Love is all non-physical. And it comes from the world of abundance where there's no limitations.
Mhm.
And Bill asked this question. He says, will you be able to get rid of or eliminate your fear? And he answers that question in one word. And that one word is no. He goes on to say, fear is an intricate part of the human learning experience. It shows you what direction to go to or what to stay away from based on your choices. Bill is real big about choices and not decisions. And that's so important, isn't it, to make choices in life and not decisions, isn't it, Donna?
It is, because decisions are so final. And decisions put us in a box in which there's no way out. It's either the highway, the right way or the highway, so to speak. So a choice gives you, if you make a choice, okay, I'm going to try this in my business, for example. But if that choice doesn't work and you veer over here and that works, see, that gives you a choice. If you made that decision inside that box and it didn't work, we automatically feel defeated.
You're exactly right, because a decision, when you make that decision, you, like Donna says, you've got a mental box there, but you've already visualized the end result, and everything's got to fit into that box for the end result.
Right, and it's final.
Yeah, and that's not the way the world turns, is it?
No.
It really isn't. It really isn't. And that's why if you make choices, you can be able to be more flexible. You can step back, most importantly, get your way out of the way of energy.
Right.
And that's what leads you into the life of love and abundance and to be fully successful. So many people on the internet and business say, I want to be successful. Well, get out of fear, get out of your mind, follow your heart.
Right.
And focus on how you can be a blessing to others. Donna, one of the things that we used to ask people when they joined our Donna and I's Speaker's Pathway, what is it you want to do? I want to make money. If someone would ask you out there, ladies and gentlemen, if you're an entrepreneur, solopreneur, whatever you might be, what do you want to do? If your answer is, I want to make money, that is the worst answer on planet Earth. Because if you're focused on how much money you can make, that tells us right out of the gate that you're not really focused on being a blessing to others.
Right.
And whatever it takes to make that money, you're willing to do it. You may not want to admit that, but if money's your God, that is your driving force.
Well, here's the reality. We all have to make money. That's just the way it is. We all have to make money to pay our bills and, feed ourselves and keep a roof over our head and all of the things that goes with, everyday living. But that is not the motivating force. It should not be the motivating force.
Never.
It is, for me, it is how I can take my experience and let somebody else understand and feel that they're not alone.
Right. You're exactly right, because let's face it, money is a reward of your efforts.
Right.
That's exactly what it is. And you will be paid according to your efforts.
Absolutely.
And when you have built these, our good friend Emerson Brantley, AKA Mr. X, he covered this very well. When you're focused on building marketing relationships with your clients, that means that they know that you're going to be there for them.
Right.
through thick and thin, that your focus is on their benefit and not their credit card.
Right.
How important is that to you, Donna? If you're working with someone and you know that their heart and their focus is on making sure they help you in your hour of need, as opposed to your credit card's about ready to expire. You got another one?
Right. Right.
You know?
Well, that was session 1 ends in 25 minutes. So could you swipe that card again?
Yeah. I tell you, and folks, again, we've said it before. If you're in a desperate situation and you you feel like you're inside of a pressure cooker and you're financially strapped, maybe you're behind on your bills or something like that, take a deep breath and relax and give thanks, as crazy as that sounds, because once you give thanks that you have the ability to face your fears.
Right.
And contact those that you owe money to and say, listen, I want to work with you because I'm concerned about this and I want to make sure that I can, do some
Doing
things
right
here.
by you.
Right. And treat you right. I don't care if it's a bank or whoever, because the person on the other side is a person. And most people, when they get into debt and get behind and things like that, they do the coward thing. They run. They want to hide, as if maybe if I go down and buy a lottery ticket tonight and maybe Friday night or Saturday night, whenever the lottery thing, maybe I'll get lucky. And that is sabotaging yourself. You're setting yourself up for continuous failure 100% of the time. And I heard it said that your chances of getting struck by lightning are greater than getting and winning the lottery. So that's why I don't buy lottery tickets. I don't want a false hope. I got better ways to spend my money than buying a lottery ticket.
Right. Right.
And Bill says here, when you face your fears, let's get our minds around that. Get off to yourself and just say, okay, today, I'm going to face my fears. I may write them down on a piece of paper. Or I may go over them in my mind. It doesn't matter. But today, I'm going to face my fears. What's bothering you? What's gnawing on your spirit? What is robbing your energy? What is stopping you? Yeah. What is stopping you from being who you are and who you are destined to be? That's one thing that it took me a little while to get my mind up to speed on that. Each and every one of us has a specific calling in life. Mm-hmm. We have a specific destination. There are certain people already in place that we are supposed to be servants to with our product, with our service, whatever we offer. Maybe it's just advice. Maybe it's being a friend. Mm-hmm. There's a whole multitude of people out there that you're going to touch their lives. You can't do it if you're living in fear.
Right.
Because fear pulls that curtain in front of you.
Well, what Bill says in the book is so incredibly powerful about fear, Jim. If you could read on.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I stopped right there. Yeah. When you face your fears, you gain power. Think about that. How would you like to turn your fears into a powerful thing for you to capitalize on?
Right.
In your life? And he says you clear your path. Now, when you clear your path, that means it opens up the door for you to move forward in the energy we've been talking about.
Right.
And you stop wasting your time and energy worrying. Oh my goodness. I mean, that little sentence right there, I'm going to read it again completely. When you face your fears, you gain power, you clear your path, and you stop wasting your time and energy worrying. Wow. What if I heard that 35 years ago?
Oh my goodness. Wouldn't that have been a blessing?
Yeah. I wouldn't have all these wrinkles and be so ugly. What are you laughing at? Oh, good.
I
Go ahead.
think I have more wrinkles than you do, Jim.
Well, I'm
But
working on it.
the next part of it says each choice to step through fear creates a big shift in your energetic momentum. It is your awareness of your fears that will allow you to make choices that truly support your life purpose.
That's the one thing too, Donna. If someone asked me 30 years ago, what's your life purpose?
Right?
I don't know. You know,
No,
I
30
mean,
years ago, my life purpose was to be a mom,
yeah, yeah.
right? I had other
Hmm.
things I wanted to do, but that was my primary focus.
Hmm. Yeah, 30 years ago, I was working. I'd get up early, work late, work on weekends, and it's not much of a life, is it?
No,
But that
no.
was the way my world turned. It's all that I knew.
Mhm.
And the sad part was I didn't have time for anything else.
Right.
I became
You
a
know,
workaholic. Anybody out there can relate to being a workaholic?
been there, done that.
You become a slave to the business.
Well, you become a slave. I was in a position where I was raising my children, and there was not a choice,
Hmm.
period. There wasn't a
Yeah.
choice. So I worked over 100 hours a week.
Mm.
And let me tell you, when you work over 100 hours a week, the most I can say I've ever worked is 114. You
Mm.
barely have time to get home, drop your lunch off, take a shower, let the dog out, take care of the cats, get some dinner ready, get your lunch ready and your coffee ready for the next day, have your shower, and go off to bed.
Hmm. And not any time for the family.
Shoot, you don't even have time for you, let alone the family.
Yeah, that's God's going to say that too. And no personal time for you because personal time for each person is very, very important.
It is.
Even if you just, I like to get off to myself, and I'm sure a lot of people do, and just, think about what went well in their life and the lessons learned. That's one thing that I learned back in the 90s when I was an instructor in the military. Whenever you take an evaluation of a scenario of a whatever it is, training, whatever, you always get on the board we would write it and have the
Right.
students participate into it. And on the left hand side, we'd say, okay, what went well? And we go through all the what went wells. Okay, what were some of the lessons learned?
Mm-hmm.
What did we learn along the way? We had to learn a lesson, otherwise, what we're doing is not really that valuable.
It's not productive.
Right, because you're not growing.
Right. It's
You got to
counterproductive.
you got to make mistakes to be able to go and grow, don't you?
You do. And the importance of having, like you said, you go off to yourself and you think, I go off and I spend a lot of time outside.
Mm-hmm.
And I gotta be honest with you, I don't think.
Mm-hmm.
I just go out there and enjoy the moment
Yeah.
and find that peace. And you know what? When I get into that space, Jim, that's when things oftentimes come to me because I'm letting the
Sure.
energy go, right? So,
Absolutely.
it was the yesterday that same thing happened. We talked about that last night within our company here,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
it was the divine energy and perfect timing, and boom.
Mm-hmm. You're exactly right, Donna, because it's just the same principle is how many times have you been trying to think of something or put something together, solve a problem or something like that? You go
Block,
to bed
block,
at
block,
night,
block.
yeah, because you got all this stuff going on in your head. It's like popcorn on a hot stove. Pop, 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 pop,
Hmm.
pop, pop. And it's knocking everything, blocking everything, really. You go to bed, you wake up the next morning around 3:30 or 4 o'clock, if you're like me, and go, bing, oh yeah, that's the answer I've been looking for. And that
Right.
is because you shut off all of the nonsense going on in your mind.
Yep.
And it's just a wonderful, wonderful thing. And when Donna goes outside, like she says there, she don't think about anything, but then the energy is able to communicate with her
Hmm.
because the energy is wanting to communicate with you.
Yep.
That's what happens. I mean, we don't look at it like that. At least I didn't, but for a long time. But that's exactly what it is.
Right.
That's exactly what it is. My goodness. And let's see here. Where are we here, Donna?
We left
Oh,
off.
with the energetic momentum.
Uh-huh.
It is your awareness of your fears that will allow you to make choices that truly support your life purpose. Wow. That's pretty good, ain't it?
It really is.
Let me read that again. It is your awareness of your fears that will allow you to make choices that truly support your life purpose. Your purpose in life is not to worry.
It's not to be in fear.
That's right. That's right. That's exactly right. Because that is a tremendous statement right there.
It is.
And that's just a sample. That's just one drop in the ocean of all of the knowledge that he can put in a few little words like that. It just ping, 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 hits the bullseye every time. This is what I love about this book.
Me too. Me too.
Mhm.
Read the next part because it supports that last sentence so well.
Okay. Let me find my place here again. Okay. Fear is telling you that you are facing the unknown and your imagination has already created an adverse scenario in your head. How many times has fear shortchanged us like that,
That's
Well,
a
you better not
perfect
do
way
that.
to put it, Jim. Fear shortchanges us of our joy and true happiness in our life. Because 99% of the time, when we worry about something and live in that fearful moment, it never, ever happens.
Yep. You're exactly right. Think of fear as being like a bandit, a robber.
Right. Coming in your front door, take all your things.
Yeah. That wants to rob you of your life. I don't mean physical life, but the life you're supposed to live. Think about that.
The happiness.
Oh, yes. Who doesn't want to enjoy love and be happy?
Right?
I mean, really, I mean, if someone says, if someone raises their hand and says, I'd like to, there's no problem with me, you might want to put that person in one of those white jackets with long sleeves and buckles in the back and get them some help.
Right? When you experience fear and choose not to face it, the fear will be running your life. Notice anytime you are encountering fear, the source of the fear is going to be something in your physical reality.
That is tremendous. To know that when you're living in fear, it's going to be running your life.
Right.
Whew, how miserable is that, Donna?
It's horrible.
Yeah.
It's horrible. When oh my gosh, I'm fearing this and I'm worried about that and I'm worried about that.
Yeah.
I still think multitasking, it's just who I am, my DNA. But the difference is Donna today versus Donna even 10, 15 years ago. I don't sit there and say, oh my gosh, how am I going to pay this? How am I going to get this done? Now I just think, all right, this is coming up. I need to be able to take care of that. And I need to do that. Okay. I need to do that.
Yeah.
And there is a difference in the energy, Jim.
Yeah.
It isn't like all consuming. It's just more like a general reminder, like my own internal agenda, my calendar agenda. Hey, Donna, you've got this coming up. You've got to do this. Don't forget this email. But it's not a pressure cooker anymore.
As you're saying that, what comes to my mind is something that Bill taught me, because I used to make a list of things I want to get done. And I'd start out on number 1 and number 2 and number 3 and going down the list. And then this is the list I want to get done today. Okay. Got to do it. Okay. And then You know where I'm going with this, folks.
I sure
Ladies
do.
and ladies and gentlemen, you know good and well I did not finish my list. Now, let me ask you another question, and you know where I'm going to go with this. What do you think I did to myself, set in my mind, or looked at? I didn't look at all the things I got done.
You
I
looked at
looked
what
at
you
all
didn't
the
get done.
I looked at what I didn't get done. And I got aggravated at myself and this and that. No, no, no,
Called
no.
yourself a lazy so and so.
How'd you know? Oh my goodness! But you know, it just it really I didn't realize how bad I was sabotaging myself.
Right.
And you know, when I make a list and I don't get everything done, okay, well that was good. I got that done. Thank goodness I got that done. Phew, you know, hallelujah. And those things are there tomorrow. If someone comes in tonight and steals that list or does them, I will not get mad.
Right.
I am such a nice guy. I won't let it upset me. I will thank them because that list will be there tomorrow. The
Well,
question is, will you be there tomorrow
right. So,
with the right attitude? Go ahead.
prime example, I am not an OCD person. Okay. Except for weeds in my yard. I'm a little OCD on that. All right. I could spot those suckers at about 100 paces. But, I mean, we have animals, guys. We have
Yeah.
a 4 foot long white dog who, I'm blessed. He only sheds every day of the year. That's it. And then we have 4 cats. We have 2 black cats. We have a Siamese, and we have a Russian blue, which are gray. So there's a lot of fur in my house. And, I have certain days I do my chores and I
Mhm.
do them in a certain order. I was always taught you dust first. So whatever's there, you vacuum up and vacuum it up off of the floor. Well, when we got sick with COVID, I got to tell you, that went right out the window for a while.
Mhm.
It's like, I don't care.
Yeah.
It is not harming me. And
Mhm.
I didn't give it any energy.
Mhm.
I didn't give it any energy because you know what? Where I was supposed to be was in healing.
Mhm.
So why would I give my healing energy to something that isn't going to matter? Whether the
Mhm.
dadgum house is dusted and the counters are spotless and the floor
Mhm.
is vacuumed. I
Yeah.
would be giving away my healing energy that I need to heal to
Yes,
something that
ma'am.
just doesn't matter.
Mhm. Yeah. You know, Donna, we can take that one step further if you don't mind.
Go for
Uh,
it.
on on that Friday night, Halloween night in 2021,
Mm.
October the 29th, I had a heart attack. And I wound up in the ER on a Friday night, had a heart attack at midnight on Halloween night, and Donna knew nothing about it. And then I was in the hospital Saturday and Sunday. And then I went in for a procedure on Monday morning thinking all I needed was stents. But after they got in there and put the dye in there, and the guy says, "No, you got the widowmaker, you got blockages, you need open heart surgery, and you need
Mhm.
it now, and you're going to need bypasses." And I just said, "Well, it's in your hands, Lord. If it goes well, I go home. If it doesn't go well, I go home." And the calm and the peace came over me. But my point being, and where I'm going with this story, was that Evelyn was keeping in touch with Donna, letting know what's going on. And we just decided, okay, the first thing Jim's got to do is get well.
Right.
I knew I was going to take some time off for healing because open heart surgery, that's pretty major surgery, you might say.
It's no joke.
It's no fun either. I was
No.
there.
And here's the thing from my perspective with you when you went through that as your business partner, but more importantly as your
Your
friend.
friend. Yes, ma'am.
So I wanted you to take the time to heal. And I'll tell you why I say this. So when I had main brain surgery, because
Mm.
of the financial situation that I was in and the amount of disability I was getting, it was not enough to cover my bills for myself and my 3 children.
Mhm.
And I went back to work after being out, I'm kid you not, folks, 3 weeks from main brain surgery. The 4th week I went back, I worked a 40-hour week. The 5th week is when I hit 114 hours.
Hmm.
And I did not give my body the time to heal properly. I didn't give my brain the time to heal properly. And now, after the third surgery, and I believe part of it was because I didn't give myself the time in the main brain surgery, right, where they went clear up into, behind my right eye. And so when I had my third brain surgery, my body was done. It said, to heck with you, Donna, you are tired. And so that was the onset of when it took me almost 2 years to be able to speak a full sentence again without forgetting a word. And so from my personal experience, Jim, because let me tell you, folks, Jim was frothing at the bit to get back behind the camera. And Jim, was I always sweet about telling you no?
Let's just say that even if you're slow between the ears, you would have understood what she meant.
I told him how the cow ate the cabbage in no uncertain terms.
Yeah. She put me in a GNC status. You know what
Right.
a GNC status is? It
Tell
means
him.
you got nothing coming. So don't ask. No, but she was very adamant about Jim. No. I said, Donna, we're doing reruns. I feel I can do this. No, Jim, you need to rest. So I had Donna on one side. I had Evelyn on the other side. I had my daughter in front of me. I had my granddaughter behind me.
Uh-huh.
I'm like a man. I just decided to surrender because you know what, ladies and gentlemen, being a real man, I decided I wasn't going to do any hard time in the hacienda.
Right.
Because that's
Right.
exactly what was happening. Because my daughter, she was laying because she works for a doctor.
Right.
And I couldn't fool her. And I knew that because number one, she's very knowledgeable, very, very intelligent young lady. And I tell Donna, when Lisa talks to me and she says, Dad, or something like that, it's going to be a wonderful conversation, friendly and all of that, because my kids love me, but they like me because I'm their dad. They love me because I'm their father, but they like me because I'm their dad. But when Lisa says, Father, trust me on this. There is no slack left in the chain. But that's a good thing.
Right. That is a really good thing.
Mhm.
So, having that energy and that time in understanding
Mhm.
healing
Mhm.
and understanding that it supports your life purpose, right?
Yes, it does.
And if you do not, when you experience fear and choose not to face it, the
Right.
source of the fear is going to be something in your physical reality.
It sure will be. And we has put up there Mr. Bill Heinrich's website, truelifepurposenow.com. You can talk to him about his book, The 7 Levels of Truth. If you'd like, Bill will be more than happy to give you a complimentary 30-minute consultation about how you can find out where you are and what's blocking you. And the same thing is true with Donna. Donna's got an email address that says high energy right now. If you send Donna an email address there, she will be more than happy to set up a time with you to give you a complimentary 30-minute consultation and help you to find, is it a person, a place, or a thing that's blocking your energy?
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's powerful. It really is. So between the two, you got a 1-2 punch, 1 hour, Mike. And I promise you this, ladies and gentlemen, I give you my word on this. There's no way you're not going to come out of those 2 consultations and not be changed and also blessed. And you know what? The price is right on both of them, isn't it?
Yes, absolutely. Giving is part of Bill.
Mhm.
Giving back is part of who Bill is. It's part of who you are, Jim, and
Mhm.
it's certainly part of who I am.
It really is. And the nice thing, too, is that Donna and I, we endorse Bill because, Donna and Bill are alike in one way. They will just give you the complimentary gift, and there's no strings attached.
Right.
If you're going to give me a complimentary gift, give me a complimentary gift. Don't put me on your email list and don't
And
bug me
hound me.
or yeah. Because if either one of them were like that, we wouldn't be talking about that right now. At
No,
least I
we
wouldn't.
wouldn't. We wouldn't.
But
So the next part of this book is
go ahead.
fabulous. So it says, if we respond to fear with love, the fear dissipates and the answers will appear.
Mm,
This is when the miracles start happening.
mm,
The more love you give, the more you get.
mm.
Love is the energy that overpowers everything.
Yeah. And love will definitely chase fear away because in reality, fear is a coward
Right.
because it's stuck in the physical. It can't compete with love and it knows it.
Right.
It knows it. It really does. That is so powerful, Donna.
I
It really
love
is.
that part. I love that part because, it just, what he says here just describes about, gosh, I just go outside and I sit and I try literally not to think, just enjoy what's around me.
Mm-hmm.
I
Yeah.
really try not to think about anything.
Mm-hmm.
And then the answer appears.
It's really amazing, isn't it? It's a lot of the positive mental attitude folks, W. Clement Stone, Napoleon Hill,
Mhm.
even
Augmentino.
oh yes, the list goes on and on. They encourage
Right.
people to get off to their stuff and just stop thinking. Shut off that flow of popcorn popping all through your head there and clouding up everything and confusing you because
Right.
that's when you can tap into your inner self and to love. And look at the next sentence there. Ooh, the more love you give, the more you get. You can't outgive the master
Right.
giver. That's amazing, isn't it?
It is.
If I love people and forgive them and let them go, if it's not a good thing for me in my life for them to be there, I love them and respect them and let them go and release anything negative towards them and focus on I love that person as a person. I
Right.
don't know all their troubles and tribulations they got in their life because I haven't walked a mile in their shoes, but I will love them, let them go. The more I love them, the more love I'm going to get.
Right.
That's a powerful statement. The more love you give, the more you will get. That is a total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 words.
Mhm.
That is 9 power-packed words in one little sentence there.
Read the rest of it, Jim.
I'm going to do it right now, ma'am. Love is the energy that overpowers everything. When you share a loving perspective, it gets received in the exact manner you share it. Even if the person on the other end that you're giving doesn't respond to you in a loving way, your love will be accepted because fear is powerless against love.
Right.
That's amazing.
That is truly, it is, in my world, it is the most beautiful gift that we can give and that we can receive.
Really is. I mean, who doesn't want to be loved?
Right.
I mean, that's what we love about dogs, the unconditional love they give you. I mean, they just, goodness. Yeah, we were talking about animals this morning over coffee and the way they've become more like people in our lives. And I
Right.
think that's, and Evelyn says, I think dogs have evolved. And I says, well, possibly, but also too, I think more people are lonely. More people are less social now.
Right.
Because, oh yeah, they're on the phone and they're texting and all that. And we do the same thing. Okay.
Sure.
But the point of it is, if you're not communicating, if you're not looking at each other, and when I say communicate, I'm talking about talking to each other, having a heart-to-heart conversation, you're going to get lonely.
Right.
You really do. Because I find myself at times, I'll get a message in from someone, I read it, okay, well, I don't feel like responding to it right now. And I forget about it,
Mm-hmm.
But if it's a phone call or conversation or something, I will respond right then and there. I'll make time for it.
Right.
And, you know, texting, you see families of people sitting around, and I do the same thing. The other morning, I was looking over at Evelyn, and she likes to look at the weather and she likes to look at certain things on the internet. And I'm looking at my cell phone, she's looking at her cell phone, and we're having coffee. And I says, are we having coffee? Are we just sitting here breathing the same air in the same area? Because we weren't even looking at each other. We weren't even communicating with each other.
Right.
You know, I mean, she might have noticed if I got up and walked out of the room, but then again, she may not have. But it's we've become a society like that, and that is something we need to guard against because that isolates us. We are social creatures.
Right.
They call it social media, but is it really that social?
We were watching a show about social media, and
Mhm.
it was really actually quite sad and
Yeah.
traumatic in that social media can be so devastating. We had
Mm.
touched base on this the other day, Jim, at how a lot of times our younger generation does not know how to interact personally because
Oh,
of
yeah.
social media,
Oh, yeah. You're
right? They
exactly
don't see
right.
the eyes, they don't hear the inflection in the voice, they don't see the body
Mm.
language. You can't see that through a text.
That's right. I remember a commercial many years ago where this guy came in, he was talking to his subordinates, and he says, our largest customer just fired us. And he says, we're always, communicating with people with faxes and emails and stuff like that. This is a little bit before social media became so popular, but sending people emails and faxes and stuff like that, very impersonal communication. And the guy turned around and he says, Ben, where are you going? And Ben turned around and he says, I'm going to see that customer that fired us. And because he wanted that interpersonal communication with them,
Right.
he wanted to look that person in the eye and say, where did I fail you? Or where did our company fail you? That's powerful.
Hmm.
That
It
is so powerful.
absolutely is. It absolutely is.
And I'm going to jump down here a little bit, if I may. And
Yes, please.
it says, if you used the guide, let me get my book right here. If you use the guideline of love or fear before you take any action, your life will be improved significantly. If you use the guideline of love or fear before you take any action, your life will be improved significantly. Are you responding to fear with fear, or are you making a conscious choice? I'm having trouble here keeping my book straight, ladies and gentlemen. Apologize for that. Because love and fear cannot coexist. That is the one thing that Bill goes over and over and over. And I said, I think it was a couple of days ago on the show, it's kind of like trying to put 2 gallons of gas into a 1 gallon container.
Right, right.
It just not enough room.
Absolutely. Because, when you come from a place of love, the fear has to dissipate.
Hmm. Yes.
It has to. It can't exist there.
Hmm. So if you've been living in fear and you've been living in worry and all that, and you just wish to say, I wish I wasn't living in fear. I wish I just didn't have all these worries. Let them go.
Right.
Love yourself first. Love yourself first. And I'd like to tell another little story, if I may. We had put on an event up there in Colorado Springs back in January 2019. And I was the MC of the event. And I had invited this individual. He was a soldier, former soldier, and to the Pathway for Vets event. And he showed up. I didn't expect him to show up, but he did. And then after hearing all of the information there, and Bill got up and spoke, this young man was rattled. He was rattled. And so the day was done, and I'm tired because I've been on my feet all day long, about 10 hours as an MC. I'm making sure everybody's, in schedule and all that stuff. There's a lot goes on when you're an MC like that.
Right.
And I'm walking out and I'm kind of tuckered. I'm thinking, wow, I'm glad the first day's over. It went great. I want to go back to my room. I want to lie down, roll over, and play dead and pant like a hound dog, you know? And then as I'm walking out, I hear someone call my name, Jim. And I look to the left, and it's this young man. And I walked over, and he starts crying. And he starts telling me about how I feel like I'm a worthless father. And long story short, he had, it's either one or two kids, I don't remember now exactly, but he was homeless. He was living up under a bridge in Colorado Springs, Colorado, in January. You can imagine how cold that is. And he is just breaking down and he's just sharing all this. He's unloading. And I'm thinking, what do I say? Fortunately for me, Mr. Bill Heinrich was walking by. Bill, you got a second? And Bill came over and Bill sat down and I introduced him and I told him what was going on. And Bill started talking to the young man. And Bill says, you really need to love yourself first. And the young man says, I can't love myself. I'm just too miserable. Bill says, that's okay. He says, I will love you for you.
Right.
And I could tell that it was time for me to kind of back out, let him and Bill have a one-on-one.
Right.
Bill drove him home that night. He said, I don't know where he stays because he says, let me out here at the gas station because he was too embarrassed to let Bill know he was homeless living up under a bridge at that time. And Bill says, I'll be back here at 7:15 in the morning. I'll pick you up. We're going to go to the meeting, the second day of the event. He says, if you're not here at 7:15, I will wait 2 minutes. And he says, if you're not there, I'm going to go ahead and go. Bill says he drove up there at 7 o'clock in the morning. The young man was standing there waiting for him. He came to the event, and the beauty of that story was, on that particular day, we had someone who was a local doctor who was former military, who dealt with PTSD and things of this nature. We were able to introduce him to the doctor. The doctor got him counseling, brought him under his wing, and the young man, within 6 months, he had a job. He was no longer homeless. He had a place, and he was off of drugs. And I tell people, if that's the only thing that we accomplished at that entire event, I mean, I got in my car and I drove from Texas up to Colorado Springs. And I paid for everything up there as far as the housing and all that, and my eats and all that. And I paid everything out of my pocket. If that's the only thing that we accomplished, I was overpaid.
Right. You were paid in dividends.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am, I was. Because the joy that brings me.
Right.
And to know that I know that I know that I know that in a small way,
You were a part of it.
I was a part of it in a very small way. Bill and the doctor are the two that deserve all the credit there because they work together in harmony.
Right.
Bill actually gave him this book and sat down and shared some information with him. And the guy's eyes just kind of like, wow. That was on the second day, of course. But anyway, I wanted to share that story with you. I apologize if I got a little off.
No, don't. It's so powerful because that's what leading with love does.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Leading with love.
That's amazing, isn't it? I'm flipping over here on the next page. I like this heavy black question here. Are you living in limitation or expansion? Bill talks a lot about expansion. Oh, my goodness gracious. Limitation, we got down pat, right?
Right.
I mean, we don't even have to go to night school for that one.
No, and in all honesty, folks, we're probably going to have to finish up a big portion of this on tomorrow's show because we are getting close on our time already.
Goodness.
But I love this. So, I'll read just a little bit of it. We live in a self-policing society.
Mm.
Anyone who is operating out of the normal is typically going to be challenged. The physical world is about limitation, and
Mhm.
the non-physical world is about expansion. If we want to accomplish big things in life, we are likely to encounter resistance or feedback that isn't supportive. It is
Mm.
essential for people living in survival to maintain rationalizations
Mm.
that justify their quality or lack of quality of life.
I mean, Bill
Boom.
just has a way of getting down there and hitting the nail on the head and driving it
Right?
home, doesn't
He
he?
really does. I mean, that is just huge because how many times have we said that we were going to do something? I know in my life I can count more fingers and toes than I have that I wanted to do something and somebody knocked me down. Oh my God,
Mm.
what, Donna, really? Why would you want to do that? Or
Hmm.
that's stupid, or this was
Yeah.
always my favorite. You can't do that,
Hmm.
right? So that's all
Hmm.
fear based, folks.
Yeah,
It's all fear based.
it really is. And it's really sad because so many people like that, they knock you down, they slam the door in front of you. And many people, most people, don't have the courage to go on and open the door and go through it.
Right?
But if you're focused on expansion, you understand that that comes from fear. You're going to let it go and you're going to drive on because you're focused on the bigger picture.
Right.
Because everything in fear is limited. Everything physically is limited. And so many years, so long in my life, I always think about I'm a body with a soul,
Right.
but
Instead of the soul with the body.
I'm a soul with a body. That's
Right.
that little shift in words there. Think about what that means to you.
Well, it becomes so much more powerful, in my opinion, Jim,
Oh
when you
yeah.
think about it in that way.
Hmm.
And it's just like, fear and love,
Mm.
not being able to coexist.
Yeah.
Right. So, I can tell you that, and I don't think anyone is immune. First of all, let me say that. I don't think anyone's immune from a worry in life.
Mhm.
No one
Sure.
is immune from it, right? But I can tell you at this point in my life, and have for many, 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 many years, I control now what I choose to give conscious thought to versus yesteryear where I let it control me.
Mm. Amen. Amen. We've all been there and we know how that feels. And, tomorrow, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to pick up exactly there. About limitation or expansion,
Right?
because limitations we got down pat,
Oh, we
Oh,
got them
yeah.
down and then some.
Oh, yeah. We got a patent on it. I think, we got, hell, I got more a month than I got money, I'm
Yep.
really limited now, but rather than giving thanks for what you do have. And the way Donna was able, she shared on the other shows how she was able to eliminate $5,000 out of her budget by tightening her belt.
Yeah.
And there's always ways of tightening your belt. I mean, talking to one guy about, he says, well, he's always struggling, he's always broke and this and that, but every day he's got to go to Starbucks and he's got to do this and got to do that, and he spends
Buy a
about
coffee pot.
20 bucks a day out of his pocket that he could live without. I mean, if you can't make your own coffee at home.
Right. Buy a coffee pot. It's cheaper.
Yeah, exactly. And I prefer, making my own coffee anyway.
I do too.
Oh, Donna, we're out of time.
We are,
Mm.
Jim.
This time goes so fast with you, ladies and gentlemen. That's why we don't break for commercials here, because of the fact in this particular series that we're covering, the information is more powerful. The messages of what we're reading here in these 7 levels of truth. And that's why Donna and I chose to read part of the book to you and share it with you, because number one, I couldn't improve on the verbiage on it.
Yeah.
Me explain it would be watering it down.
Right.
Number two, we wanted to make sure that if you do decide to buy those 7 levels of truth, you'll have an idea on what you're getting.
Right. The
It's
value
that
impact.
it's that powerful.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my goodness, Donna! I guess it's time for us to close.
It is. It is.
We can't stay another hour and a half.
No, we're going to get kicked off in a minute.
You're just no fun, you know. That's right. Well, they'll yank our plug, you know. But ladies and gentlemen, we want to thank you for being with us today. And also, too, if you have any question on anything, all you got to do is just email us there at inspiration@e360tv.com. A member of our staff will get that. We'll be more than happy to give you the correct answer, the straight answer the first time. Get
To
the
the best of our
information to you.
ability.
Yeah. Whatever it might be. If it's information on a previous show, we will send you the direct YouTube link to that show. Because if you're like me, you're a point and shoot kind of a person, give me a click, I'm there, you know. But because I don't like hunting and searching for stuff. But Donna, we've had a wonderful time. We're going to have a wonderful time tomorrow on Thursday.
Well,
And on Friday, we got Mr. Bill Heinrich with us. We're going to do the point and shoot game.
that's going to be fun.
Oh, it is. I'm looking forward to it.
I am too.
Because Bill's just going to, we're going to read a paragraph and we're going to flip through the book, eyes closed, pick a paragraph, read it. He's going to, share some information with us. That's going to be powerful. Yep. Ooh. Can't wait for that one.
I can't either.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, our time is gone. Thank you so much for being with us today. Donna and I, we want to thank you so much for tuning in and watching the show. It really does bless us to know that we're one of the well-watched shows on E360 TV. But we also want to say we hope and pray that you and your loved ones live in love and abundance. May you be blessed with good health and happiness, joy and jubilee. And we pray that, sickness will not, come into your family or into your life. We know it does, but we hope if you are sick or whatever, dealing with something, we sincerely hope and pray that you get well real soon. And, we just love being here with you. We really do, from the bottom of our hearts. And I think we project that over the airways, Donna.
I think we do.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, folks. Well, join us tomorrow. Same time, same channel.
Yes, ma'am. I'll be here. How about you, Donna?
I'll be here.
There we go. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye,
Bye,
folks.